Joseph was in jail still, but he wasn't by himself. God was with him, and God gave him favor with the guy who ran the jail. The guy who ran the jail liked Joseph, and he actually decided to put him in charge of everything. Everything in the jail, Joseph said. The whole place. The guy's like, yep, and there's 2 guys coming to join you later today. They're from the Pharaoh's palace. And the guys came. One guy was the Pharaoh's baker, and the other guy was his cupbearer, which was kind of a weird job. Cupbearer, bring me a quad venti half-calf with whip, 2 Splenda stirred skinny, 3-pump Nile alligator mocha made with oat milk, no foam. Quad venti half-calf with whip, 2 Splenda stirred skinny, 3-pump Nile alligator mocha made with oat milk, no foam. Got it. Here's your latte, Pharaoh. Where's the foam? You said no foam. I said, just go to jail. That night at the jail, everybody went to sleep, and the cupbearer had a strange dream, and so did the baker. As they were talking about it, Joseph said, don't interpretations belong to God? Tell me what you dreamed about. The cupbearer went first. I dreamed about 3 vines that grew and blossomed and made grapes, and I squeezed the grapes into a cup and gave it to the Pharaoh. Then the baker explained his dream. I dreamed I was balancing cookies on my head. They were for the Pharaoh, but birds were eating those cookies. So Joseph explained what the dreams meant. The cupbearer was going to get hired back at the palace within 3 days, and everything was going to go back to normal. But the baker, things weren't going to be so good for him. And sure enough, Joseph was right. After 3 days, the cupbearer got hired back at the palace and he got let out of jail. Joseph said, don't forget me when you go to the palace. And Joseph was also right about the baker. Unfortunately for him, he was let out of jail, but it was because he was going to be killed by the Pharaoh. The cupbearer was so busy at the palace he totally forgot about Joseph, and Joseph was in the jail for 2 more years. Then one night at the palace, the Pharaoh had a strange dream. In fact, he had 2. In the dream, Pharaoh was standing by the Nile River when 7 beautiful, healthy cows came out of it. And then 7 weird-looking, unhealthy cows came out of the river. And then the 7 weird-looking cows ate the 7 beautiful cows. Then the Pharaoh dreamed of 7 ears of healthy wheat and 7 ears of unhealthy, skinny, dried-up wheat. Then the 7 ears of skinny, dried-up wheat ate up and swallowed the 7 ears of healthy wheat. Then the Pharaoh woke up. He returned to the palace's court, and he said, bring me the best magicians. I need an interpreter for these troubling dreams I had. So the magicians weighed in. You're feeling conflicted about your childhood upbringing. The cows represent your superego devouring your unconscious mind, and the wheat is archetypal nourishment. You want a hamburger! None of this sounded right to the Pharaoh. Get these weirdos out of here and bring me a real interpreter. Suddenly, after 2 years, the cupbearer remembered about Joseph, so he raced off to go get him from the prison. When Joseph arrived, Pharaoh told him the whole story. Joseph listened. God gave the interpretation. Okay, this is the interpretation God gave me, said Joseph. There's going to be 7 years of great growth and abundance here in Egypt, but right afterwards, there's going to be 7 years of a terrible, terrible famine where nothing will grow. So what we need to do is get a smart guy and put him in charge of the land. We're going to take 1/5 of everything that Egypt produces and put it away, so that when the famine starts, we have a great big reserve that'll be enough to feed the whole land. So Pharaoh took this advice and he said, where am I going to find this wise man? Hey, wait a minute. Congratulations, Joseph. You've got the job. Joseph said, what? Pharaoh says, yes, I'm putting you in charge of all these storehouses. Make everything you just said happen. So that's how Joseph came to be in charge of all of Egypt. The only person that was above him was the Pharaoh himself. So they got to work putting things away in storehouses. So for 7 years, while the land was still abundant, they stored grain and wheat and everything they could find. And then the famine came, just like Joseph said. Everything that was green turned brown and the people began to starve. So that's when they began to take things out of the storehouse. And actually people came from all over the place to get help from Joseph. And that's when Joseph heard a familiar sound.
I told you guys it was this way. It is so hot in
It's the
Egypt.
storehouse.
I told you.
After all these years, Joseph's brothers had come to Egypt.